Why, hello there. You seem to have caught me wondering what would happen if the two pillars of the East decided to fight it out. Well, in real life, China and Russia, despite popularly, don't actually like each other very much. They only like each other because they have a common enemy. The United States of America, baby. Sorry, let me use this country. Right here. I wouldn't say that it's likely for them to go to war. In fact, it's incredibly unlikely for them to go to war because why would they? There's nothing to gain. But let's just say they did. Who would be the aggressor? I don't know. I'm just going to say it's China because having China in red feels right. Then again, Russia in red wouldn't feel too wrong either. Anyway, enough of me rambling. Let's pick teams. So, we're going to have North Korea join China's side. It does get a lot of supplies from Russia, but without China's supplies, they'd be completely dead. We can see Iran join on Russia's side. And Ukraine is going to join on China's side because, well, they're already at war with Russia. And that's a pretty good incentive. Okay, so this is an approximation of where the front lines are right now. It's not going to be exact, probably not going to be close to exact, but that's the best I can do. I'm sorry. Now we're going to have some real game changers going on Russia's side. These countries include Belarus, Kazakhstan, and Mongolia. Yeah, really shifting the tide of battle there. These two countries, who I don't know the name, are going to pick their respective teams. A lot of the Central Asian countries, sorry, my brain stopped working for a second there, are going to join on Russia's side, and we're going to see, yeah, I'd say that's around good enough for teams right now. So, let's begin the part what you all came here for, the murder. So, we're going to see a large Chinese advance into Mongolia, sweeping through the country because, well, Mongolia isn't very strong. Do I really need to explain myself? No. Mongolia is weak. Genghis Khan ain't going to come back and save him. So, yeah. We see a large Chinese and North Korean force push forward in a spearhead and are able to block off this part of Russia and begin to push into it. This country gets wiped from existence by a joint Chinese and whatever this country is called. If you live there, in either of these two countries, I apologize, but not really. Kazakhstan gets invaded, and both Mongolia, Kazakhstan, and I can't speak today, can I? Mongolia and Kazakhstan both call out for Russian help, but Putin, he's a big brain man with a big brain plan. You see, he's deciding not to defend Siberia because there is no point to defending Siberia. It's just snow. There's nothing useful here. I mean, sure, there's a few natural resources, but those aren't really going to matter. So his plan, fall back to this border, hold here until he's finished off Ukraine, and China's forces are weakened by the cold. Then, while this is happening, he's going to cut off all oil supplies to India, unless they supply him, and eventually he's going to ask them to join the war. And now, with a weakened China, one front line, and India on his team, he's going to destroy China. Now, this actually seems like a good plan, which is very surprising for Putin, because his great plan in Ukraine, it's not going too well for him. But this is mostly because of his generals. I'd compare it to Hitler. Hitler wasn't actually that smart. He made really bad military decisions, but he had really good generals that did his job for him. Anyway, back to the fighting. Without Russian support, Mongolia surrenders, as well as this part of Russia. We see Chinese forces begin to push around into Russian land. Now, there isn't much point into actually invading this Siberian land. There's natural resources, but it's just going to cost too much, take too much time. There's no point. Oh, and by the way, Iran's just going to decide to defend its own land. It's not going to go for any invasions, and it's not going to... It's sending supplies, of course, but it's not physically sending troops. So, China is just going to push around the more populated areas of Siberia, but it's not really going to do much more than this, and instead it's going to focus on Kazakhstan. Its plan is simple. Push up, take Moscow, while they're still trying to defeat Ukraine, and wham bam boobity bow, they win. So, a lot less complicated. So they're going to begin a spearhead, very thick spearhead, might I add. I don't know where the capital of Kazakhstan is. But officially the country is going to capitulate, but Russian forces are holding this front line. And if you're wondering, Iranian forces are holding here. This is the exciting part of the video where you get to see me colour in things. And yes, I am currently colouring in the... Don't know what sea that is, actually. Because I think it's the Adriatic? I don't know. Please correct me if I'm wrong. So, right now, Russian forces mainly focus on defending this front line, but now there's a huge amount of troops pouring into Ukraine. Now, actually, Kaliningrad, not Kaliningrad. My brain always works. Never mind, I'll just stop naming it. And this is simply because Western supplies coming from the US have been stopped, thanks to some great propaganda by Mr. Donald Trump. A large part of the population believes that now supplying Ukraine would mean supplying China, and they don't want to supply China, obviously. So with American supplies not going to Ukraine anymore, countries like Australia, France, Britain, Germany, South Korea, and Japan have to step up their supplies, but even so, it is not enough to keep Ukraine free. The entire country's not going to fall, but Kiev is. So that's going to fall. They're going to heavily push them back. Of course, this isn't like fully taken over. There are several rebel organizations still fighting back. Since Belarus has officially joined the war, they do an invasion from the north, and the front lines get basically stuck like this. And Ukraine isn't going to surrender. The president has officially fled to Warsaw in Poland. And the West is now very scared of Russia. They're not so scared that they're gonna supply China, but they don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Just ignore what I'm saying, because I am making no sense. So, we see China continue to push into these countries and reach the border of Iranian troops. And by now, India is currently feeling and push back Russian troops, because, speaking is hard. By now, India is really feeling the heat of, no more Russian supplies. Even though they are supplying Russia, Russia now says, we're going to fully cut you off the oil if you don't join us. And so, they do. India joins the conflict, and now with more coercion from China, Pakistan joins, as well as Sri Lanka. Now, Sri Lanka's not going to do very much besides provide a distraction for the Indian military. It didn't provide much of a distraction. But it did provide enough of a distraction for China to begin its invasion here. This is the exact same thing that happened last video, except this time we see an even faster collapse of Pakistan, because Iran's here. And, the southern area of Pakistan is completely taken. Its capital's here, I think. Please correct me if I'm wrong. And an Indian spearhead gets it. But, now, Pakistan is a top 10 strongest military country. Iran is 15. India is, in my personal ranking, it's third. Officially... in, oh god, what's it called? I don't know. Most people rank it as fourth, but currently my rankings are first is the US, obviously. The US, obviously, number 1. Number 2 is China. Number 3 is India. And finally, number 4 is Russia. I would go into depth about why this is, but I'm probably just going to do it in another video. So I'm not going to explain myself. Anyway. So, again, Pakistan is top 10 military country, and they absolutely hate India. So conscription is introduced, and they are able to retake the capital and push India back slightly in the southern segment. Meanwhile, a joint Pakistani-Chinese force is able to invade Kashmir, that's the region, and this is an absolute bloodbath, millions of people die, yada yada yada, but they're able to take it. Down here, we actually see the Indians pushing back, and yeah, I'm going to leave this front to talk about Ukraine. Yeah, well, Kiev rebelled. We see large-scale rebellions popping up all over Ukraine. But this is because Russia's focused all of its military into taking out the final portions of organized resistance, and Ukraine officially surrenders, but not really. There are still large-scale rebellions happening. And so Russia goes around, taking back Kiev. This one is put down to size, so it's not completely eradicated. And this one is slightly weakened. Slightly weakened as it loses nearly all of its land. Okay. Down here, because Iran has spent some resources on Pakistan, we see Chinese troops be able to push back, and they're going to push around here and reach the border of Iran. Afghanistan. Now, you are a strange country, Afghanistan. You were invaded by... So let me zoom out. You were invaded by Russia. You were invaded by the US. You were invaded by the US. You dislike Pakistan. Yeah, you're just going to stay neutral. Because you're currently having border conflicts with Pakistan. You were invaded by Russia. Yeah, you're just going to stay neutral. Okay, so we see more Chinese troops flooding from this front and the northern front to help out Pakistan. And now China's changed its plan slightly. It's now going to focus in, take out Iran, and then do a two-pronged assault. Probably going to coerce them to get through the Baltic country. Not the Baltic. Oh god, my brain stopped working. These countries, and then do a two-pronged assault to Moscow. That is their new plan. So, it currently goes pretty well, and Iran is forced back to their border. Now, Iran's capital is there, or here. Like, this area. And so that is the number one priority. And that's Russia, mate. As Iran institutes a draft, more and more of its people become increasingly unhappy with the government. And so when Chinese troops begin to push into the country, by the way, this is very mountainous, but who cares about geography? Large-scale protests break out, and I wouldn't say the government's overthrown and by Chinese loyalist forces, but it's not very popular. This isn't foreshadowing. It's really bad foreshadowing. Yeah, that made absolutely no sense. Anyway, we see China get completely pushed out of this area because it's focusing its resources here. And Kaliningrad? Oh god, my geography is going great today. Kashmir, that's its name. Kashmir is... No, it's not fully retaken, but a lot of it is. Down south, we see Pakistani resistance movements rising up in defiance of India because, realistically, it would probably take the strength of China. No, probably take the entire military of India just to subjugate Pakistan. And I think it'll probably take the military of China and Pakistan and maybe another country to subjugate India. Like 1 billion people, 1.4 billion people right here. They absolutely hate Pakistan. So yeah, it's not going to be fun. So we see a Indian invasion of China. It goes fine, I guess. They don't do very much and they don't go very far because why would they? They have China knocking on their borders right here. Whoa, what did I do? What did I do? Anyhow, I have no idea what happened there. So, we see advances on this front as this is like so buggy. Anyway, so we see advances on this front as Russia is mostly pushed back to its own borders. Though we do see Russia successfully defeating the Ukrainian rebellions and moving its forces to better combat China on this front. I'm going to clean up this border quickly. Don't mind me. Okay, so let's see, like right now, who's winning? China's captured Mongolia, Kazakhstan, a lot of Stan nations over here. Meanwhile, Russia's got Ukraine, which China doesn't really care about. Pakistan is not completely done, but it's getting pretty bad. India and China are basically lost and gained an equal amount of land. Iran's slowly collapsing. So what will change the state of this war? Well, it's pretty damn simple. One country in the Middle East got involved, and now they're losing, which means we have another faction during this conflict. And this is the Purple Team. This Purple Team is consisting of countries. Now, before anyone says anything, yes, Israel and Saudi Arabia are on the same team. Highly unlikely, but before the Hamas war, they were going to sign a normal, like, not an alliance, but like maintaining normal diplomatic relations. That's actually why Hamas attacked then, because they didn't want that to go through. So they're going to join, and they're going to attempt to kill Iran. Now, Iraq doesn't like Iran very much, but they dislike Israel and Saudi Arabia more. So we're going to see an entire Middle Eastern conflict break out, because, well, these two dislike each other. Everyone hates Israel. Yemen, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. I'm just going to click and you guys can assume things. It's not the right color. Okay. So now with a large faction breaking out, and if you're wondering why they're purple, because they're not in China's team, but they are fighting the blue team. Not the blue team, just specifically this. I'm really great at using this. Specifically this area of it. Just basically Iran. They want to kill Iran. So let's see the fighting breaking out. Yemen? What Yemen? Jordan? What Jordan? Syria? What Syria? Yeah, this joke's so great, guys. Pretend that it was funny. And we're going to see the Purple Team begin to push into Iraq, but the Iranian military is there to stop them. Turkey. What would you do? You're going to join the war on the Purple Team. Now, this isn't going to bring NATO because Turkey opted to join it and wasn't attacked. But, yeah, these countries are really disliked. I mean, Israel's disliked more, but I think that they take advantage of a weakened Iran. So this area is extremely mountainous and well defended, so they're not going to fight there. But this means Iraq is going to completely fall, and a small invasion of Iran begins. Chinese forces, now having an easier path, are able to take the Iranian capital. And, yeah. So we see the Purple Team pushing up. Chinese team pushes down. A naval landing A naval landing goes here. China team pushes down. Purple team pushes around and connects up with their naval landing while spreading outward. This area holds on for dear life. The Pakistani front collapses because Iran is pretty dead, and China pushes in from here. India doesn't completely leave Pakistan, but it mostly does, only holding on to little bits. And Iran is going to capitulate to both the purple and blue teams it's going to capitulate to the blue team, the red team officially, because they think that's going to be more merciful. But the final borders look something like this. But China's like, no, wait, we wanted to go up here. And then the purple team's trying to control this and like, yeah, sure, fine. That's fine. We don't want to risk going to war with you. And so now they go up here. Armenia is friends with Turkey, and Turkey says, bro, please. And so they do. They don't join the purple team. This is just to simplify. They're going through here. Okay. And now the Chinese forces in Iran are now in Russia. Yes. Oh my god. I hate this. So they begin to push up. Ignore the Caucasus Mountains. I finally remembered the name. 20 minutes late, but it's fine. And they begin to push up. This kind of takes the Russians by surprise. I mean, their spy technology ain't that good. Not like Cold War. But they did have some idea that they were going to do this. They didn't expect it that fast, though. So they move up, do what Hitler couldn't, and take this area. What is modern-day Leningrad called? I don't know. But that's taken. We see the the Chinese forces positioned in Kazakhstan, beginning their spearhead towards Russia. And as Russia scrambles to organize its defenses, this area capitulates to the red team. My brain stalled there for a second. No, I didn't mean the purple team. And red forces begin to push up. Now, invading Russia, practically impossible. Like, I'm sure if NATO went to war with Russia, they could do it easily. Now, this red team, powerful, very powerful. Second strongest in the top 10. Not even going to mention you because you're not that powerful. But they're versing number 4 and number 3. In my opinion, number 3 and number 4. Most people, 3, 4. Doesn't matter. Now, so I don't think they're going to get much further than this, because Russia's going to organize its defenses eventually. India is still kicking, and it's probably going to start attacking back because China's pretty weak. So how is this going to work? Well, simple. China gives India an offer it cannot refuse. They give it the Chinese area of Kashmir, which is enough to make India leave the war. Now, in real life, would China do this? No. China is very vain. I'm not saying, like, how do I put this without upsetting people? China would never give India anything in this war. Like, it would never happen. But in this scenario, it does. And so now, Pakistani Chinese troops are going to move up and continue the push towards Moscow. Now Russia is actually quite scared. Well, its generals are scared. Putin's like, guys, it's fine. Everything is fine. But by now, China's introduced conscription, and yeah, the people don't really like it, but they're not going to do anything, except for one city. And that city's name is Hong Kong. Hong Kong's there, right? Wait. I don't know where Hong Kong is. I'm so stupid. One moment, guys. Let me just Google where Hong Kong is. I'll probably cut this out of the video, because why would I keep it in the video? Anyway, would this happen while you guys can stare at a screen that isn't moving. I'm going to justify my reasons. Would Hong Kong do this in real life? No. No, it would not. Okay, yeah, I know about it. Simply because, why would it? It's not a smart move. But I want to see a free Hong Kong in my lifetime. So yeah, we're gonna make one in this scenario. Now, how is this gonna happen? Well, it's pretty simple. As more Chinese troops and police move out to this front line, less and less is being put in Hong Kong. And now that the Chinese have introduced conscription, most Hong Kongese people, Hong Kongers, I think they call themselves, aren't happy. They're already protesting. Also, Hong Kongers never surrender. About new laws that will limit their freedom, which is really bad, I might say. If you don't know, I'd highly recommend you research it, and the 2019 Hong Kong protests, they're really interesting. But they already dislike this. If they were sent to fight in Russia by the Chinese government, I feel like they'd go on massive protests, bigger than 2019. And with limited police, I think they'd be able to just temporarily gain their freedom. Who would risk China's wrath and acknowledge them as a country? Well, there's one country who would. So yeah, Taiwan acknowledges them. Other countries that acknowledge them? The Vatican. Other than that, not really anyone. Because why would they risk the wrath of China? But anyway, wrath of China. Yeah, Russia's screwed. Belarus decides to nope its way out of this war, hoping to not get completely destroyed. But when I say Belarus does it, I mean President Lukashenko's regime is overthrown and the Belarusian people decide to do it. Because, yeah, rebellions pop up in Ukraine, and with the Russian forces weakened, they are in no shape to stop them. We see Chinese forces continue to push up into the more wealthy lands, and the spearhead goes towards Moscow. Where's Moscow? Yeah, that looks right. I don't know. So it's gonna spearhead towards... No, Moscow's like here. I don't know, it's on Earth and in Russia. I'm sorry, God. Wow, can you guys tell that I'm a genius? That was sarcasm, by the way, because never mind. So, let's see who will win. Russia versus China, Pakistan. Well, that's a weakened China and Pakistan, but, this is a very weakened Russia. And so we're going to see Putin's government and regime being overthrown by its generals, and Russia will officially leave the war. Now, would this be what happened in real life? No, this is an unrealistic scenario. If I made it realistic, then this wouldn't happen. But I think this could be a possibility, a very unlikely one, but maybe. And it was hopefully entertaining. That is kind of the point of these videos. Try to be close to reality, but also entertaining, because I don't think you guys want to see the world being annihilated by nuclear bombs. Because that was probably going to be the most likely scenario. Actually, as just a way to end it, I think that Putin would threaten to fire the bombs, and China would say, yeah, if you fire the bombs, we're going to fire them back, and you're both going to die. Or, if you fire bombs at us, the West is going to invade you, and you're going to die anyway, unless you fire bombs at the West, and then the entire world. So how about this? When we give you a peace treaty, we'll leave you in charge. But, as long as you don't kill everyone. That or the generals are in charge just say, yeah, we won't kill anyone, we promise. Anyway, that's going to be it for the war scenario. I'm going to make a peace treaty. I hope it's better than the last one, because the last one was, it honoured my British heritage. Okay, see you in 5 minutes. Okay, so I would love to say that I have greatly improved my map drawing skills, but I have not. So let's take a look at this peace treaty, which I'd say is better than my last one, but not by much. Mongolia has been split in half between Russia and China because China got half of Mongolia and it was just too small to remain a country, and I think they lost most of their population. So now they're part of Russia. Kazakhstan lost a big chunk. This country ate that country, or the other way around. I don't know. I still don't know these countries' names. But hey, if you do know, leave a comment about it. And while you're down there, you can like and okay, yeah, no one's gonna like and subscribe anymore. So China got this bit of Russia, like there was your border, I think, something like that. North Korea got nothing, because what would they get? They barely border Russia. India got a teeny bit of Pakistan. The old border was here. They also got claims over Kashmir, and there's now, I wouldn't say no, but there's less border disputes with China. Iran got partitioned. Some went to Pakistan. This is a Chinese vassal state. This is like a purple team vassal state, I guess. Though it's more of I'd say, probably a Saudi Arabian vassal state most. Yeah, so Saudi Arabia is now really big. Them and Oman got large chunks of Yemen. Israel owns this land, if you couldn't tell, because the map I've got isn't fantastic and Israel's kind of non-existent in it. Turkey has expanded into its southern land, including this bit of Iran, and this is a Turkian or Israeli vassal state. This is so yeah, that's how the Middle East was partitioned. The Central Asian countries get off with a slap on the wrist. Belarus, after toppling its leadership, is now an independent country who has cut ties with Russia and is looking to join the West. China might want to stop this because they don't want another Western country, but they really don't have... Well, they could do it. I'm not saying they couldn't. I'm just saying their people are currently really quite against war, and they would probably not want to do it. We can see that Ukraine got eaten. They had to recognize that Crimea was Russian. They got little chunks of land. Oh god. Little chunks of land like here and here chopped off. Lost a bit of land to Belarus. But overall, since Russia got the entire country, you'd think they got it. If Russia got the entire country in real life, there would be no Ukraine. So this is kind of lenient. Now, who's in charge of Russia right now? That's the main question. It might be Putin, but I think it is a Chinese puppet government, and Putin is now under arrest for, trying to kill everyone with nuclear weapons. Ooh. Whoops, I'll cut this out of the video. Anyway, that will be it for today's scenario. I hoped you liked it. Anyway, yeah, I'll see you next time. Hope you have a good day.